Hello and welcome to the final round of ActivInspire Jeopardy! ActivInspire is software that works along with the Promethean Board in the classroom. Today we're going to go over a few random tips, starting with random tips for 100. You can easily add some really cool templates to your flip charts, either by going to Insert Page and looking at the different categories under activities. This, for example, is a puzzle. So this could really be fun for students to be able to stand up on the whiteboard and piece together a puzzle, something like that. You can also add this type of thing using the resource browser. Under Shared Resources, Activities, you'll find all kinds of different categories, which you can then just drag and drop onto your page. Here's another example, periodic table for older students. If you choose Element, and then when you mouse over the different elements, it shows you the information and properties, for example, uses. So really nice interactive periodic table. Let's move on to random tips for 200. What is import? You can import a variety of different things onto a page in ActivInspire by going to File, Import. So you can see the different choices here. And what I've started with is a PDF. So when you get this option, you can just find your PDF and you get a dialog box with a variety of choices, including sizes and where you want to place it into the flip chart, etc. If you put it at the end and it's multi-pages, for example, it'll just make a new page for each. So what I've done here is imported a portion of a PDF and used the shape tools on the toolbar to emphasize a particular part of this PDF, but it's not really readable to the audience. So keep in mind you can use this zooming option to zoom in a little bit and scroll so that it is readable to your audience. And Best Fit takes you back to the regular size. You may also be interested in importing a PowerPoint presentation or a Smart Notebook. If you use PowerPoint, then you can import it as objects. I found that works a little bit better. When you first open ActivInspire, the dashboard allows you to have some of these common imports right there without having to go to File, Import. And then, of course, if you want to just simply continue to use your PowerPoint presentation as is, you don't need to use ActivInspire at all, but it'll work fine with the Promethean Board, just using the pen as a mouse. So bringing in these files from PowerPoint and Notebook will give you the opportunity to add interactive features that only ActivInspire will allow you to do. So, moving on to random tips for 300. If you're like me, when you're preparing a lesson or presentation, it's kind of nice to jot a few notes down and go over it without having to waste a whole lot of paper. So when you go to File, Print, you get this dialog box. I'm going to cancel that so we can look at my larger picture. And you can simply choose rows and columns in order to print out what we call thumbnails. You can also check Show Page Numbers to get the page numbers at the bottom, which is very useful as well. And that way you can print just a couple of pages and add a few notes to it as you're preparing for your lesson. And our final random tip for 400, is annotate. So annotate is when you take the pen, basically, or highlighter, and you write on top of whatever you have on your screen, whether it's just the plain flip chart page or whether it is something from another application or the internet. So the annotate button is a little bit misnamed. What it does is it simply takes you out of whatever you're in or ActivInspire to whatever happens to be open behind it. So if I choose whatever's behind it, I can open files and demonstrate and use the pen to explain, you've got to do this step and then you've got to come down here and do this step or whatever. In order to get back to ActivInspire, I just click that same annotate button and I'm back to ActivInspire. And at the top, it has actually saved my annotation so I can easily go back to look at what I was just doing and continue with instruction. However, it might be more useful to think about annotating when you're standing at the board, taking notes, brainstorming, or having a meeting. You can just simply create a page, a new page using Insert. I added a nice notebook paper background. It's not necessary. And I added a picture of Alaska because that was part of this discussion. And so I just used the pen tool to take some notes. And then when you save this flip chart, you will save, of course, these notes. You may also like to play around with handwriting recognition, which is this tool right here. It takes a little getting used to, but when you have messy handwriting like mine, it might be something to play around with to convert what you've written with the pen into typewritten text. So that concludes ActivInspire Jeopardy! Have fun with your Promethean board in the classroom.